That might work. Okay, it is 6 o'clock. It's Wednesday night. It's Reel Unfiltered Talk. I'm James Bryan alongside the two-time world champion. Wait a minute. Nope, I'm not. I'm next to the seed of the two-time world champion. One of the three seeds. So that makes you're the first seed though, right? First seed. Not as fat, but you're all right. Welcome to the show tonight, Mr. PAyden Hibdon. PAyden, how you doing tonight?
Good.
Good?
How about yourself?
I don't know if I can hear you. Hang on a minute. You're going to have to stick your face in a little more. You got to slide up. Get in it. Talking it like you know it. Try it again.
I said I'm good. How about yourself?
That's good. Thanks. How was your week?
That's all right.
Did you golf or did you fish?
Oh, a little bit of both.
You're going to have talking to it louder.
Over?
Hold it if you need. Let me get you a wireless mic.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Maybe.
I can. See? There you go. You can slide up like, we're having a conference here. I know it's your first time.
I'm not like you.
The term in the entertainment industry is eating the microphone. You got to eat the mic. Eat it. So, how was your week?
It was good.
Good. There we go. You guys got that one right. Sweet. So, had you on the show tonight because, and we were talking about it before the show. First of all, your old man's still under the weather, and he's fine. Everybody, he just, I don't want to catch it. So whatever he's got, I don't want to get it. So, and I talked to Lawson today, and I was like, hey, by chance, you want to come up to the show? He's like, man, I have COVID. I'm like, seriously? He's like, yeah, but I feel a lot better. I'm like, no. So then I checked off to number 3, and he's like, I don't want to go, but I'll come anyway. So here you are.
Perfect.
It's all good. You want to talk about your past, or you want to talk about your future?
Ooh, past is kind of scary, but.
So, you belong to, and you've heard the story a million times. You probably get sick of hearing it. The son of the only father and son Bassmasters Classic champions, I think, ever, correct? However, you still have an ultimate title also, because you are a Bassmasters Classic Junior world champion, correct? Was it junior?
Yep.
So I don't know if anybody knew that or not, but you have a title too.
Little
Counts, right?
Junior.
A win's a win. How old were you when you did that?
14.
14. But you did against like older kids, right? Or was that as old as you could be?
There's a couple of different age brackets, but.
Yeah, but you got a world title.
Yeah.
You still have the trophy in your bedroom?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Rub it every morning.
Polish
It's like,
it.
hey, that's
Polish
my
it.
guy.
Right.
Yeah. Right on. Where'd you catch that one at? I mean, what tournament? Where were you when you won that tournament?
Florida.
Florida. Was that one where they have like a guide in the boat that takes you out?
Yeah.
Or do you get to do it on your own?
Nope. No, there's a boat captain and then another kid.
A lot of discussion out there about anglers who claim that if you have the best guide in a junior tournament, you're going to win a tournament regardless of your skill. No. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
I have.
They say it's, if you have a better boat and a better guide and a better deal, that's where it's at. No?
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but the guys aren't actually allowed to show you anything. Or they didn't used to be. I don't know if they can now.
I don't know. It's just like, I guess it'd be like high school football or anything else. If the parents buy you better equipment, you're going to do a little bit better, right?
Right.
I don't know. Anyway.
More time on the water makes you better.
So you're no different than anybody else, but I thought we'd have a pretty good chat tonight. You know what month this is?
September.
Do you remember? Yeah, September. So, I always do it every guest on the show, but you're co-hosting tonight. But, in the month of September, PAyden won post-junior fishing. You won almost $40,000 in the month of September. Did you know that?
I did not.
You did not know that. Fished the MLF. You fished 3 times, okay, in the MLF. All 3 top 10s, all in the Lake of the Ozarks, including 1 win. The win was worth $9,000. The other ones were out there, but almost $37,000 in winning, and all of them were in the month of September. Now, do you want to know why I want you on? Because we got a lot of stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm feeling that maybe your wheelhouse is like pre-fall.
Yeah.
Right. I would say so. You win a little cash. That's where it's at. This is you're coming in your good time now, right?
Right.
So we get to talk about it because people watch the show. Believe it or not, they kind of want to learn how to fish. And if this is your hot month and you're not fishing big tournament this week, because I think there's a Here at Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri, there's a Toyota, I believe, starts this week.
Yep.
Tomorrow. Yep. You're not fishing that one, which is cool.
I'm not.
Not that you know of. You never know. You might get a phone call in the middle of the night and say, "Hey, we're short a boater, and we'll comp your entry." You'll go.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
So if you guys know that, jump in on it. But so you have a technique that you do this time of year. The conditions that are out there. Let's hear about it. What do you like to do this time of year, and how can you tell people what to do this year to make them better in the month of September to make them a better bass angler?
I really think it's the same as everybody's technique for this time of year. Everybody wants to go shallow and flip boat dogs, anything shallow cover, throw top water. I mean, it's top water and just getting started a little bit, and the flipping bite's been on for a while, so
Dude, that's it.
it's pretty simple.
It's not simple. So what I did, I went to AI before the show, and I asked.
Did you make the monkeys? Or?
No, I didn't make the monkeys. But what I did was I asked Microsoft first, and the question was, how do I catch fish on Lake of the Ozarks in the month of September? All right. And then I asked ChatGPT the same thing, and I wanted to compare it if you feel that these techniques are correct or not, because actually these two had two different versions. You ready?
Okay.
And we're gonna start and we're gonna break it down a little bit here. Microsoft says number one, you got to skip a tube under the docks. Creature bait, skipping a tube, get under the docks and do it. Shallow docks with shade and structure. Agree or disagree?
I agree.
It's one technique.
Yeah.
And then they said secondary points as well for staging fish. And I kind of think about that one for a minute, and I'm like, okay, so what do we consider a staging fish in September? I'm making you think tonight. See?
I mean, I don't disagree with that either, especially for like the topwater side of things.
Well, are they staging for fall feed?
Yeah.
They're not. They're definitely not staging to spawn.
Right.
So they're coming out of the docks and they're moving out to those points. As your dad says, they're schlepping around looking for some food.
Right.
So that's a staging back out to the secondary points, not main lake just quite yet.
Right.
Right?
Or staging to go back in still yet.
Or to go back, which Microsoft AI says top water early in the morning for feeders. They're feeding. Crankbaits and jigs in the afternoon. Spinner baits on bluff walls, which I thought was kind of interesting. And then it said, follow the current up the river for richer oxygenated water. And I thought that's kind of interesting because I know a lot of people don't think about oxygen so much, but this lake, and we've talked about it a much, and if you're watching from lakes all over the country, the same thing applies. And Stick says hello, by the way, and Ron says he can't hear the co-host, but you'll speak up. So, do you think? And I'm kind of picking your brain here because Pop's not here, so you're gonna have to step in here.
Right.
And now you know the rules here, right?
I guess not.
You don't have to tell the truth. You can make whatever you. It's up to the crowd to know what's true and what's not true. So you can dig down deep in your lies.
Okay.
Come up with a good story. Okay. AI says if you go up a river system when we've had water flow, that there's more oxygen, thus gets more fish to bite. Do you think there's any sense in that?
I think a lot of people go up the river this time of year. I'm personally not one of them.
Why not?
Because I don't want to have to fight Dad and Lawson for it.
So he says you don't want to have to fight Lawson and Dad for it. However, what you're saying is there's a lot of fishing pressure that goes up the river, mostly because there's current. And I notice here we've had a lot of rain, so they're probably going to run some current through. You're going to have current, and that's where the masses that go. So with that being said, on a tournament day, if you're fishing a normal tournament, you're definitely not fishing recycled water.
Correct.
You're not one of those guys that are going to go because that's where the fish are.
Right.
You're going to go catch some fish. So you prefer to go away from where the pressure is.
Right. And I don't know that you ever get completely away from the pressure on Lake of the Ozarks. It's just there's a lot smaller area to fish up the river the further you go. And if you have a handful of Lawson and Dad and a few of these guys that know what to run up there and look for, what docks to sling under, it makes it very, very small fishing.
Right. However, let me turn that back down here. I I understand what you're saying. They know, but you share, right?
No,
Don't share.
I don't share.
You don't share any information with your siblings whatsoever.
Try not to.
Really. In practice time, you don't say, "Hey, Lawson, I just want you to know
I
I
talk.
caught him."
I talk to Dad. No,
Okay.
yeah, no. Lawson's on his own.
Well, I promise you, I think he undermines you.
Oh yeah.
He probably shares the information the other way. That's the trifecta.
Listen, whenever you have somebody that fishes as much as Lawson does, you don't have to share with him.
I guess next week we'll have to have him back on. We'll have this trifecta and talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I kind of see, I know y'all get along fine, you know.
I'm
I mean,
kidding. We do
right.
share.
Got see? There we go. Now we're talking. So you choose to let the money purse to the guy that has the more effective bite. You just roll off and go for second. I'm kidding. Totally kidding.
With Dad and Lawson, that happens because they're in the same area. Now, for them to jump and come down the lake, if I said, hey, they're not 9 times out of 10 gonna do that.
Like on a day two.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, they went upriver, they divide and conquered, and then you kick their ass down lake. And they're like, what'd you do? And you can dial that in up the river too and do something similar.
Right.
Unless you're fishing 30-foot dead man's,
Right.
in open water and condos that don't exist upriver.
I mean, would you abandon everything that you would practice all week long and go do something on a whim?
On day one, if I had 2 fish for 4 pounds, yes. And there's
You're not as hard headed as we are.
But let's talk about this though, because from a tournament standpoint, and I can tell a story if you want. It's kind of a long story, and I'll try to condense it. But there was a guy that told me way up the river, all these fish were concentrated in a single pocket. It was 100 yards long, 50 yards wide, and there was 30 pounds of fish in there every day guaranteed. How many times have you heard that?
Like, couple.
Yeah, but the couple times you heard it, the first time you thought it was BS, because it doesn't happen that often. But when somebody tells you that, it's like kind of you put it in your memory bank, but I'm still gonna stick to my plan. Second day he came back and he said, "Hey, I want you to know I still caught some fish in there." And he was slow rolling spinnerbait, early October, way up the river. I was catching fish, and I'm like, "Okay, cool." And we were getting fish to Highway 5. I told the story before, but the third day he backed up his car and had a cooler of about 15 pounds on ice. And he said, I really thought this would get your attention. And I'm like, okay. He's like, you've got to go up and catch him. The story is the first day, I went up there and I caught 6 pounds. And when you're running from the lower end of the lake and you're making a 60-mile run, you got to invest in it.
Yeah.
And I caught like 6 pounds. Dad and I did through a buddy tournament.
Right.
And I was done. He caught those 15 pounds out. It was all a bunch of crap. It didn't work. And he said, you have to go back. And I said, why? And he said, because you didn't wait long enough. The bite comes in the afternoon. I'm like, well, that information would be a lot helpful yesterday, because I bailed out, don't want to make the run back, be safe, hit some spots on the way. He said, you got about a 30-minute window. So I invested, went back and did it a second time, and we caught about 19 pounds, which there's a long story to that, but you get the gist of it. Oh, yeah. There's times when you should be invested, when you get good information, and times when it's just not working. Now, if I'm fishing a tournament on a 2-dayer and I have 4 pounds, 9 out of 10 times you're out. You're done. So even if you had a good, consistent day on day one, I'm probably going to try to do something different. Maybe go for a big fish. Maybe try to cash some checks. Maybe learn something. Find a leader, follow him around. I don't do that. But you want to, right? So, yes, I would abandon. You're saying no.
It would be hard for me to abandon confidently. I would have had in the back of my head all day long. Oh well, what if my fish were on today?
If they came on it later,
right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be really difficult because you're all high caliber fishermen. I think that there's a level of stubbornness and confidence to where it doesn't matter what they say, your pattern's going to work better than theirs, and you're going to stick with it. And it's kind of a ride or die kind of concept, right?
Absolutely.
Do you think all anglers should take that attitude, or do you think there's we can talk about and let me back up because I feel like I'm like talking over you and I'm sorry, but one of my favorite Bassmasters Classic moments is Takira Mori's win. And he was in the hunt, but he was struggling. But then out of the blue, he gets in his box and he pulls out the square bill and he says, "This feels right." And in the last 5 minutes of the tournament, he's like destroys the field and wins. Huge moment, right?
Right.
It's that adjustment.
Yep.
You know, so I think there's kind of a point where you have to be invested in your plan, but still recognize what's around you to make an adjustment to make yourself a better fisherman.
And have the confidence in yourself. I mean, if you go fish your stuff and it just doesn't feel right, then try something else. But if you're not confident in you, then you're probably not going to catch many fish to begin with.
Right. So I kind of dig down on what people say. What you said was if it doesn't feel right, define that to a fisherman when you're out in the water. What doesn't feel right? I know it's a hard one, but I just because I know that feeling. It's when you start fishing along and it's like the water doesn't smell right. You know, the wind's not blowing the right direction. The sun kind of shifted the other way.
You fish too many of the right boat docks or
and nothing's
pieces of
happening.
cover, and yep.
Trolling motor just feels like it's not steering right. It's something it's just off, right? Yep. But there's really no.
There's no rhyme
checking,
or reason.
I'm checking all the boxes, but it's like intuition, I guess.
And then some guys will just continue to go through the paces, hoping whenever you should have abandoned ship 2 hours ago.
Yep, grinding it out. Let's see here. Stick says September's the best month to play golf, by the way. So,
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with him.
Yeah, funny. I don't know. You're a big golfer, so it's Stick, but you know, is what it is. I'm still working on the audio here, guys. Hold tight. Let me turn this up a little bit more. We'll get it figured out here. So I have to take this moment to thank Lloyd at Hiawatha Beach, our one single sponsor, and he told me the other day to buy new microphones. So I bought new microphones, and now they're saying they can't hear, which I think it's you, because I can hear myself great, but I think it's you. You got to talk louder.
So I can hear myself.
You got to talk, like really yell. Like, man, I'm doing it. Do it. So, you're not helping me out here much. ChatGPT says, you ready? Top water, main points, backs of coves, spooks, midday, secondary points. They said jerk baits and clear water in September.
I'm not gonna say you couldn't catch them. It's not typically my go-to.
I'm already seeing this point now where anything will work with you, and just try it once, and if it doesn't work, try the way it works for you.
No, I'll tell you it'll work once, but I'm probably not gonna do it myself.
Are you gonna throw a jerk bait in clear water in September?
No.
All right. I heard a guy won our local club tournament last week threw a jerk bait in the middle of the day. Upriver, early September, main lake stuff. Jerk bait. I'm not a jerk bait guy, but that's coming. It's coming to quite a new trend in summer and fall fishing. Is using suspending jerk bait.
Yeah.
Because it has a whole lot of different avenues to fish, especially like if you're fishing dead man's, piers, those kind of docks out there where you can throw a suspending bait and catch them around. It used to be huge with crappie guys in the fall, but now it seems to be more in the bass community. But I think you're kind of an old stock record like your dad. I think you just throw a jig all day, and it's like it is what it is.
I in the fall I don't use forward-facing sonar a ton, and I feel like that's if you're going to be very successful catching like on a jerk bait or something. You're not just going to go out there and randomly throw a jerk bait. You're going to have to look for those fish and the bait fish where it's way easier for me to go skip a little jig underneath a boat dog.
Right. So, like the rest of the Hibdon family, you're a shallow flipper. You prefer everything less than 4 feet.
I mean, times the year.
How'd you win the BFL down here in September?
Skipping and jigging.
Under the dock shallow. Lower end.
Yep.
Guys are getting boring in your old age. I swear. So, this time of year, shad moved to the back of the cove too. You're a big shad guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know where those shad live and where they move because that's the primary food source, correct?
Yes.
This time of year, you're going to find them in the very, very backs of the cove, very, very shallow.
Correct.
how would one approach going up there and looking for bass without spooking bass, and what would you throw to catch a bass in the back of a cove?
A spook or a fluke. I mean, something that you can cast a long way. Pencil pop, something like that.
See, this is where I like old school guys. How old are you now? 35?
33.
33. Yeah, 33. And you're talking pencil baits, spooks, but never once did you say I'd chuck a glide back there.
You can.
But you don't, right? You're old school guy, right?
I don't typically.
Do you own a glide?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like throwing them.
But do you throw for like one big fish? Like after you have a limit, then you get your glide out and like go for that big fish there.
Right.
Yeah, but you don't commit to a day of throwing a glide.
No.
I've noticed that most good glide guys do that. They'll throw a jig all day and catch their pounds, and then go out and try to whack them a good one.
Or look for fish that way. I mean, you see so many come up and roll on it or come up and follow it, and then if you look around in that area and find, oh well, he come off of that piece of brush or that piling or log or whatever, then you can go back and catch them later.
Right. Well, so your dad and I have this conversation a lot. So fish shows himself, right? Yeah, you throw in a glide, he flashes it, goes back to the brush pile, and you said later. How long is later?
I mean, you might go back 2 hours later, or if it's a multi-day tournament, you might go back the next day.
Without fear that somebody else is going to fish that pressured spot?
I mean, that fish rolled on yours is probably going to roll on theirs too.
You can't pick up a jig and flip it right in there if he didn't feel it? You don't think he's going to bite it again?
I think it takes them a minute to get settled back down.
So they fed, I'm kind of being argumentative, and I'm sorry, because normally your dad and I get into pretty big heated discussions about this, because I'm like, listen, this is crap. I don't believe you. I think you should throw in right behind it because that fish is feeding,
right?
And he's going to continue to feed. He doesn't need to settle down. He's ready,
right?
And he didn't get it, so odds are he's going to get the next one. So you pitch right back in on it and get him. You say give him a rest, take a chill, come back later, and I don't know, some dude weighed in your fish later, and he's like, hey, I saw you over there. I saw you boil that one. I went back and whacked it. You've heard that before, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's why you've only won 3. Sorry, I'm kidding.
So be it. I think you're throwing 2 completely different style baits in there, too, though. I mean, you're throwing a glide bait that is that long, and then you're going to pitch a little bitty jig in there.
It's presentation, not so much the bait, right?
Well, it is.
I mean, I've seen a million times a guy throw a spinner bait, fish flash it, throw a 10-inch worm behind it, catch that fish.
Sure.
Because it's 2 variations of a shad, which I don't believe a worm is a shad, but everyone's telling me that's what it's supposed to represent. Which, you haven't heard that?
Oh, I've heard it.
Your dad said that.
I don't believe it.
What do you think it represents? A worm?
A worm.
So, here we go again down this road. Do you think a worm crawls over the seawall, falls in, and crawls across the bottom? Or do you think there's worms that live on the bottom of the lake all year long? And why would that be a predominant bait, using a worm bait, if it's supposed to be a worm, and you catch a bass in 30 feet of water on a worm?
How it's always been.
That's
how
always been. I'm just saying.
Are you telling me that the baits that they're throwing now that looks like a little piece of seaweed? What does that represent?
What's the new? It looks like an octopus.
Right.
It's like a rubber ball.
Like a ball.
Yeah. It's just a reactionary strike bait, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Or take like the guys at Kentucky Lake that are throwing that 15-inch long, they calling it whatever.
Mamba worm.
Carp shit.
Carp shit.
That's what it's supposed to look like.
Like stringy poop.
Yeah.
Bass eat stringy carp poop. This is brand new. We haven't heard this one before.
Apparently so.
I mean, there's a huge Asian carp output, but so you think that in Kentucky Lake they're using carp poop as a technique to catch bass?
That's what they claim.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You think because it's stringing through the current, they just think it's like a snake or something?
I guess, or a lamprey or something.
Interesting. Huh? Are they brown?
Yeah.
The bait?
Mm-hmm.
You remember cream worms, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, they all came in like natural brown, white, and black. That was pretty much all they came in. But It also came with spinners on them. and they were like double rigged with 2 hooks, so you cast and retrieve. So I think it was flash there too, not so much worm representation.
Right.
But
I think
I
at
don't
the
know.
end of the day, they're little dumb green fish, so we're probably not going to figure it all out.
See, your dad thinks they communicate with each other. They talk.
Oh, I think they can.
He talks to them. They like things.
Well, yeah.
You think they're dumb.
You don't talk to them? You don't use the here fishy fishing?
Yeah, I have a whistle.
I mean, I've done it.
Have you?
Oh, have you ever had a tough tournament?
All my tournaments are tough. Apparently, you don't watch the podcast that much. I'm the 12-pound king. Even though the last few months we were doing pretty good. Then we got set back. But yeah.
Right.
Not bad. Yeah, I've had tough tournaments, but I guess when it comes down to anglers, you either want to grind it out, put your nose down, really work, or talk to the bass. But I don't say here fishy fishy.
I do.
I'm just like, man, I just give me one in the boat to help my confidence. I say things out loud like that. Just
You're talking to them wrong.
talk. That's how you're holding your wrist wrong, you're holding your rod wrong,
right.
holding your lip wrong.
I mean, you should have spent more time in the boat with my grandpa. I've heard him do it.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd ever talk to fish. I don't believe that. Did he?
I think he told the fish what to talk about.
Really? Huh. Interesting. What's your best memory of your grandpa? Fishing or not fishing?
Me and my grandpa, we spent a lot of time together. Growing up, it seemed like Lawson and Connor were always with Dad, and I was always with Grandpa, whether it was fishing or hunting or just goofing off.
Yeah.
So there is a bunch of them.
Got one? The podcast, man. Tell me something.
We were deer hunting in Kansas. Probably the very last time that me and him went, and it was just him and I that had went for some reason, and I shot probably the biggest deer I've ever shot in my entire life on that trip. And yeah, he witnessed it. Travis Bullock was there.
You don't count.
John Bullock, yeah.
You don't count either.
It jumped up, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a horrible shot. I shot his nuts off first.
Shot a deer in the balls.
That's
Nice.
right.
What kind of gum are you using?
7mm Ultramax. Yeah, they were gone.
Was he running?
He was running.
Okay, I'll give you that one. I'm not a good shot. So. So it was no like this was this memorable moment. He was just there and he's like, yeah, good job. Now clean it and drag it out.
No, I just told you the 4 guys that were there. It was memorable.
Gotcha.
And then you had John and Pawpaw sat in this wounded warrior stand, and Travis and I had to go get them out of it. And we noticed from about 100 yards out there was a pretty good perimeter of beer cans underneath this blind. And seeing the 2 of them climb out of it, pretty half lit.
Glazed.
Oh yeah.
Yep. With weapons.
With weapons.
Nice. That's true Kansas hunting.
That's right.
Were you hunting high fins?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Nope.
Just checking.
Nope.
Just making
nope.
sure. And I don't think I've ever said this before. You want to know? I have one memory of your grandpa, but it's the same. It was like a weekly thing. Yeah, he'd go out fishing during the day, and we come in and stop in the store on the way. And when we come in, I would say, "Did you catch him?" You know, his response was,
I went fishing, didn't I?
There you go. Every time. Well, I went, didn't I? So I use that a lot now.
Yeah.
You know, it's my go-to. We fish a club tournament. They're like, "Did you catch him?" And I said, "Well, I went, didn't I?" You know, it's like
I do the same thing.
Always get a limit.
Yeah.
They're just not a good limit. So they go, "Did you get 5?" I'm like, "Yeah, I went." You know, and they don't know it's 8 pounds. But I got
in a coffee can, but
hell yeah. But occasionally you stump them because you walk up there and it's like, "Hey." Are you a sandbagger when you catch them big?
No.
You lay back?
I mean, it's just, I caught some, I didn't catch some.
Do you understand that when people do that, what the reasoning is? They think they want more glory or?
Yeah, I don't.
Because they do it. You know, it's like, I'm going to sit and just like watch everybody and I'm going to like get the big glory at the end.
Yeah, no.
You guys do that? You guys back here do that? You've done it.
I just soon get them weighed in. More food, more time to stand around, drink beer.
You like socialize with other anglers?
Not so much.
Just asking. Some people do, some people don't.
It's the longer you gotta lie.
Lie.
I mean, the more time you're having to spend around other anglers, the more you're gonna have to stand there and lie to them.
What percentage of winners do you think tell the truth?
None if you're smart.
If you're smart, because you're gonna fish next week.
And the week after, and the week after.
I think if I'm done for a while, I'll tell the truth, and they won't believe you anyway. Sometimes you could like totally mix it up.
See, and I've done that a bunch of times. You tell the truth, and they're like, "Oh, well, I mean, he's lying, so I'm not gonna try that."
Right. It's like, no, I caught him on that. So yeah. Huh. All right. Well, so ChatGPT is right. You concur. There's nothing weird. No special secrets or techniques to do in September that would throw everybody off.
I'm afraid if you're going to Chat TPI or Instagram, Twitter for fishing information, you might be in bad shape.
It's kind of the new way, though. You can get an app for that,
Yeah.
So, I mean, because they're going to, and this is my like tip of the week, and we're going to argue this. I think AI has some really great benefits outside of everything else. Like, for example, what they're doing is it goes online and finds every fishing report that's out there and generates an average. So you don't have to chase and call all your buddies and deal with the lies.
Right.
The problem is that most of the time, this information put out there is people that are trying to sell tackle. And the reason I know that is because the newspapers call me every Monday morning and they say, what are the bass biting on? And I'm like, what do I want to sell this week? So you kind of keep it in the wheelhouse, but if you have an overstock of black and blue jigs, by God, it's a black and blue jig bite.
Yep.
And I think a lot of stores do that. So, true. But also, you want your customers to also catch fish. So you have to find that healthy kind of in the middle.
Like, I'm gonna lie, but how bad?
Right. A little lie.
Yeah.
It's like you probably are going to catch some fish, but you're not going to catch the best ones.
Right.
Because I'm saving that for myself. And I've said it a million times. I love recreational, non-tournament anglers. Because recreational anglers, when they catch them big, they want to tell everybody. Because they're proud. And they're like, dude, they'll come in the store and they'll go, dude, you're not going to believe this. I dug in my box and I found this spoon and I put a pork rind on it and I threw it down the side of the dock and I caught like a 6.5. You're like, what part of the lake were you on? Like, dude, I was like at 35-mile marker. I was on this dock and I caught like 6 in a row. And it's like, how did you cast that? I threw it right down the side. It was splitting right under the dock. And I was reeling really fast and it just kept coming out and it kept biting it. It kept biting it. It kept biting it. It was like, dude, it's awesome. It's like, you got a picture of that thing? And it's like, I've got a chrome chatterbait kind of like that. You're going to try it, right?
Oh, yeah.
But a bass guy, he figures that out. He goes out, a tournament guy, he does it. And he comes in and he's fished a chatterbait or a spoon. He's figured it out. And he comes to a tournament. It's like, what'd you catch him on? And you know what he says?
I did.
Jig. Worm.
Yep.
Where'd you go? The water. Right?
Lake.
Yeah. Yep. So that's why I love recreational anglers, because they're like, I ain't got a picture. Look here, hanging in his mouth.
Yeah.
It's cool, right?
It's not all edited.
It's not edited. No sponsors, no promoted baits.
That's right.
I mean, there's like, I need that most of the time because they're coming in, they're looking for another one.
Right.
Because they've got one, and then they lost it on like the 5th big fish they caught. They're like, crap. And it's like, I'm looking for this 1970s bait that was in my dad's tackle box for like 15 years, and I dug it out and lost it. I need another one. It's like,
Whereas tournament guys will send their third cousin's ex-wife in to shop for their tackle.
I see that all the time too.
Yep.
All the time. This lady's coming in and she's like looking around. It's like, hey, can I help you? And it's like, yeah, I'm just looking around. But by chance, do you have a scuppernong 6-inch lizard with chartreuse tail? It's like, who's your husband?
And then you gotta like Facebook stalk them, see like who's catching what. That way you know what end of the lake and where.
So do you wipe out the background and crap on your pictures too?
No.
And I think by that time their fish are gone. Doesn't matter. Really? That's my thoughts at least.
Right.
Yeah.
I take lots of pictures of fish on the floor.
On the floor of the boat? Yeah. But not hanging up in the background?
No.
With like Jeannie's Dream Porta Graboids with the UE numbers on the dock?
Right.
Everybody does that. It's like, I know exactly where you were.
Or a lot of times I'll go take them places where like law fishing.
Just pick it up,
Yeah.
going over to somebody
Right.
else's dock and take a
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's misdirection. I'll remember that one. So that's a great tip. Catch a big fish, go 2 miles and take a picture.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Mhm.
You do that a lot?
All the time.
Nice. Have you? Yeah. Yeah, and then make a fake post. Have you ever heard your dad talk about pulling a dummy?
I have.
You know what that is? That's whenever the fish is riding upriver and you kind of stall out on your takeoff and you wait
Oh, yeah.
and then go downriver a mile so everybody sees you run, then you wait till they're all gone, then turn around and go back.
That's like a Mark Tucker thing.
He calls it pulling a dummy. You ever done that?
Mhm.
You'd think you'd get caught, but
Not if you actually stop and fish.
Yeah.
I mean,
just fish around a little bit and
well,
just
yeah,
kind of
think
wait.
about it. There's a bigger fish population in the glades than anywhere on Lake of the Ozarks. So
You
it's not
stop
like you're
in,
just
everybody
wasting
sees
time.
you,
Yeah.
and then when they're gone, then you kind of
Yeah.
ease in behind them and
Yeah.
go where you want to go, and they
Go
never
do
see
your
you.
own thing. Yep.
Kind of cool. It's a good technique
Yeah.
on tournament fishing. I like.
It is if you don't want to get caught.
But even if they did, they don't know if you caught them ahead of time, and
Right.
then now you're out searching.
Exactly.
They're like, dude, I saw him this morning. He probably whacked him big. Now he's out looking for a big fish. We're gonna go back and fish that hole tomorrow, and then you go back to their water and whack them again.
Right.
It's kind of cool. It's a
Yeah.
nice technique. I like that. It's called pulling a dummy. Just in case you know.
Okay.
He
I'll
was-
remember.
Well, he was talking about the FLW tournament. Those fish were just like a couple miles from takeoff.
Right.
Remember that? 2000. Of
Yep.
course, you remember. Were you there?
Yeah. I was young.
Do you remember there being mice in the cabin?
Oh, at the Red River?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
That's,
Mice and snakes.
yeah. So we're having a conversation about his FLW win. We're having a chat, and he was like, "Dude," he said, it's one thing with doing the tournament. But every night we'd go get mouse traps, and the boys hunted mice and snakes all night in the cabin because they were like crawling all over.
Yeah.
He's like literally like covered.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Like,
it was
really?
pretty gross. Yep.
Huh. Did you stay at was it Red 11? Was that the name of it? No, that's Oklahoma. That right by the river. Those
Yeah,
little white trailers,
yeah,
right?
it was right on the river.
Yep. I stayed there once. Have you heard that story?
I don't think so.
So I was fishing Red River on an FLW tournament, and your grandmother told me I need to stay there, book ahead of time. There's only like 6 trailers. Everyone else has to drive to Shreveport, which is like 30, 40 miles away. So yes, and so I get there. Dad and I went there. He fishes a co-angler for the tournament. We were fishing Everstart.
Right.
And we got there, and they looked like FEMA trailers. This little square little FEMA trailer, but they had cables that were on each corner, and they were tied down. They had like dead man's in the ground. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I did not realize that the Gulf storms came off there every night. And when you get in that thing, everybody's like scampering like mice, and they're like covering everything up. I'm like, what's going on? And when that storm came over, you get in that little bitty trailer, and it would rock like you were inside of a washing machine for about 45 minutes, and it was done. And that happened every single night.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Kind of cool though.
Yeah.
You have memories of traveling. If you ever travel, like they talk about the glamorous life, not so much.
No.
It's a challenge.
Not most of the time.
What was your favorite lake to fish outside of this one?
I used to really like Kentucky Lake, and then Lake Champlain.
They said Kentucky Lake made a huge comeback.
It has, I think, in the last few years.
I told your dad about it when I was traveling with the professional crappie groups. They took me down there on a shell cracker and a brim spawn.
Yeah.
Of course, they call perch and bluegill down there brim, which took me a while to figure that one out because I'm a hillbilly and I'm dumb. Like, what the hell's a brim?
And
And
red
they're
ear.
like, red ear.
Their
I'm like,
big
that's
deal is a red
a bluegill. Like, no, it's a brim. Like, this one's a bluegill. This one's a brim. I'm like, same to me. But anyway, I learned more about side imagery pre-live scope.
Yeah.
Looking at nests for brim. Oh my God. And, they would go, here's 100 nests. These are pretty good, but look over here. There's 10 great big nests here. And I'm like, yeah, those are shell crackers, and those are good ones. And they would do spot lock, make long casts, and that was probably the most fun I've ever had, fishing. So I always say, I think it's June, July on Kentucky Lake.
Yep.
Go down there, go down the Blood River and the Sandy and those areas. Oh my gosh, so much fun.
They have like a whole festival in Paris.
Really?
For it.
For brim?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep.
So I'm going to tell everybody I'm never going to get to go. So but we're gonna make a trip of it. I'm gonna get a whole group of guys, and I don't even know if there's a limit in Kentucky.
I'm not sure.
Isn't that one of those things about when we harvest fish, when we're on our lake, we know that like crappie's 15. But if you go to Kentucky Lake, there's no limit. We're gonna catch all we can and clean them really fast so we don't get caught, right?
Like going to Arkansas.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Same thing. But yeah, the brim fishing was incredible. I had a ball. The first time we were down there, and you and I haven't talked about it a lot, but the 3 years I fished on the pro tour, which not pro, but the minor leagues, the Everstarts.
Right.
I could write a book on everything that happened to me, and it was in the Evinrude years, or the bad Evinrude years,
right?
When I had a new motor blow up every single tournament. It happens. Which I think you did too, and your dad did too, and everybody who owned an Evinrude did too. It was one of those things. The 50 years, 2000, 2002, bad deal. Anyway, Dad and I were fishing, and we were at on the land between the lakeside, and we were fishing out of the moors, and we were throwing magnum lizards, and the smallmouth were starting to spawn. So you get around because we don't have it here, but the willow trees,
yeah,
the root system would get in the water at Kentucky Lake, and it's structure. It's incredible fishing, and you could pitch in there, and those smallies would get up in there. It was really good fishing. Dude, he drug out like a 2.5 pound shell cracker. Now, Missouri guys, that is the biggest bluegill we've ever seen in our life, and we're going to have it mounted. I mean, it's first time Kentucky Lake caught thing, and I was like, this is a stud. So coming back, we had some lower unit problems, and with any mid-level to pro tournament, there's always service trailers there. You can pull in and get all your stuff fixed. So pull in the Evinrude trailer, and I said, lower unit's knocking. He's like, we'll drop it and put another one on here real quick, no big deal. And he says, hey, your live well's running. I'm like, dude, I got to show you this. I was like, you like stand back, So I reach in, I pull this thing out like I'm pulling out like a state record. Like, oh. He's like, dude, that's a shell cracker, and that's a little one. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, that's a little one. And then from that point on, I'm like, we are shell cracker fishing. So the story gets better. I still can have this shell cracker mounted for dad. So put it in the freezer, like forgetting let it go, don't talk about it anymore. And like 6 months pass. So I take it to Campbell, who used to be a taxidermist down here, and he made this thing. I mean, it was gorgeous. Throat, big orange throat, flared gills. It was like on this log. I mean, I was like, it was the best gift I could ever got my dad. And then Christmas Eve, I set it on my bed, closed the door to surprise him. My ex-wife's cat was in there, and I didn't know it. And I closed the door, and the cat ate the fins off of it on Christmas Eve. If I could have caught it, I would have. I divorced her instead, but that's a whole other story.
Had the cat on it too.
So I called Campbell on Christmas Eve, like, you're not even believing what's going to happen. Ran down and he fixed the fins. He got like these little clear fin material, patched it together, sprayed it really fast. Still gave him Christmas. So that's my shell cracker story. Nice. You don't have a story that good, do you?
Could have had the cat mounted too.
Woo! But I would have stuffed that cat too. But anyway, bad deal. So that's my Kentucky Lake story. What other lake?
Lake Champlain's fun.
Never been there. I never did the northern stuff. I fished everything in the south. Never did Northern Lake.
I liked it up there.
Yeah. That's New York, right?
Uh-huh. Vermont.
Yeah.
Canada.
You like yellow perch fishing?
I do. I do.
I have 2 in the aquarium over there. I'm trying to grow them big.
Yeah.
It's not working.
That's probably one of my personal favorites to eat, freshwater.
Yeah. All right. They say they're good like walleye.
Yeah.
I've never eaten one.
They're good. Kind of sweet tasting a little bit.
You took a trip to the south a couple months back. You guys did some red, or is it not red? What the hell are they called?
Redfish,
red drum,
snapper,
yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Did I tell you the story? Your dad said we caught crap out of red snapper. I'm like, did you catch them? And he said, yeah, we caught them. I said, if you don't have pictures, it doesn't exist. So he sends all these pictures, the whole group holding pictures, and I said, dude, anybody can hand you a fish. So he's not here to defend himself. Did he catch red snapper?
Oh yeah, I've got some videos.
He didn't provide proof.
He also got whooped pretty good by some sharks. Yeah.
By who?
Some sharks.
Oh, he got
and,
whooped.
Oh yeah, and snapper too.
How's that happen? You're out there fishing for red snapper, shark rips your shit off. You
And
cut them off, or you land them.
You can try to land it. We landed a few, but most of the time they get the best of you.
Are those considered trash fish in the South? I mean, nobody eats shark, right? I wonder why.
So. I think there's certain ones that you can eat, but
Are
I
they
don't think
protected?
I think some of them are.
Yeah. Which one? Sand shark? I don't know. Interesting.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Crazy. Yeah. And you're the most boring of all the Hibdons I've got.
Well, you're being kind of boring.
Well, we can talk about sex and fishing.
There you go.
We can talk about see, we've already talked about pooping off the side of the boat. We've already talked about sex and fishing.
Yep.
I thought you'd bring something to the table a little bit different, like here's a story I've got.
I've got lots of stories. I don't know which ones you want me to tell.
Well, you guys are the storytellers. I'm just the host. Did you ever hear the story about your dad that actually crapped off the side of the boat and had to use his underwear, and then everybody was watching him? You heard that one?
Yep.
Okay.
I've got one.
Do you? Is it
actually,
a pooping story?
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to go there again tonight. My dad gets really mad. He's like, "You guys have to stop talking about pooping in boats." But
hopefully you don't poop in the boat.
That's happened too. Co-anglers that think they can go use the live well.
Oh,
That's happened. Ooh. Splash wells. That's happened.
That's a shitty day.
And I'm going to tell you something else. I'm just going to say this right now for everybody that's watching. We've been talking about disgusting stuff like that for like a year now. And guess what? Like 2 weeks ago, Randy Blocken on his big show talking about some guy fishing boat pooping in a splash well. And I'm like, he's getting our content from us. We're the smart ones. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. So, yeah. So, Randy, if you're watching, just make sure you know. We come up with the cool stories first. So, yeah. I hit a deer once going to a tournament up on Truman. And when I hit him, he crapped down the entire side of the boat. And when I got to the tournament location, when I went to sit down and realized there was crap in my boat seat, deer crap smeared, that was bad because I had to wear it all day long because I didn't have a change of clothes.
Ooh.
Which I learned. I should have listened to your grandmother. You always take a change of clothes in your boat with you when you fish, and towels, and
all the things.
Didn't.
I hit one leaving. I think it was the VFL that I won the first day of it, coming out of Osage Beach, and it was running. Missed the truck. I thought, everything was good. Well, it bounced around the boat, and I got all the way to the Eldon exit, and it was in the boat, still alive.
Inside the boat?
Inside
he jumped inside the boat and died?
No,
it was alive?
No, it was very much so alive. Came way to life whenever I stopped at the Eldon exit.
Did you kill it?
No, it jumped out.
It jumped out?
Yeah.
I've seen them on tandem trailers where you run over them, and they hang up inside there, and they'll drive all the way to the tournament, and they're going to back in. They're like, there's a deer hung up under my boat trailer. I've seen that a couple times, which you think in the realm of things should be like never, but I've seen it twice. I'm like, dude, you've got like a doe hung up in your trailer. Like, what? It's like, gross. How do I get that out of there? It's like, so they go back and forth in the trailer trying to scrub it out, like you're wringing out a towel or something. I'm like, dude, that's not going to happen. He's like, he's twisting around that 3 times. I mean, I had a squirrel on my boat one time on takeoff. He must have jumped in there on like that morning or something when I got in. And he was like, and he like jumped off. And I was like, what the freak was that? Had that. You've rescued animals in the water, right?
Oh yeah.
Everybody gets a wet squirrel and grab them up, throw them in there, and then they go crazy on your ass after you save their life. You've had that happen.
At the Potomac River, kind of like early summer, late fall, those squirrels will migrate.
Right.
They look like little moving islands out there.
Islands? Swimming across?
Yeah, there'll
be
groups
of 100?
Yeah, hundreds of them with their little tails sticking up just paddling.
Really?
Yeah. First time I seen it, I was like, what is that? And I thought it's like grass or something as I was running at it, so I avoided it. Got close enough to it. Sure enough, whole bunch of squirrels.
Squirrels. That's weird.
Yeah.
Kind of like the lemur run. Right. I think it was 2001. I went to Rayburn, and 2 things happened that was 2001, 2002, whichever year the shuttle crashed. Because we were down there when it crashed. But like 2 days prior to that, I'm fishing along the bank, and I'm like, oh my god! And this dates how old we are in time. We had flip phones, and really didn't take pictures with it
Right.
because I don't think mine had a camera. So I had a disposable cardboard camera I kept in the boat. It's like and click, and I saw a world record rat. It was like coming down to the bank to eat in the water. It was like 3 feet long, had like a 3 feet tail, 3 foot tail.
Like a nutria?
It was a nutria, but I didn't know what nutria were at the time. So at the time, it was a 6 foot rat, and it was a world record. And I took like 20 pictures of it because it was like a Sasquatch in my book, right? But it was a nutria. You learn. And then the next day, I was going back another bank, and I saw black squirrel. I've never seen a black squirrel before, ever.
Where'd you say you were?
Rayburn.
Oh, yeah.
I was in Rayburn.
There's a bunch of them in Louisiana.
But I don't think I've ever seen a black squirrel in Missouri. Right?
I don't think so.
So if you're not out there and experience the outdoors, I mean, yeah, but if you're like this naive 20-something guy gonna be a pro fisherman, and you're reading the bank, you're learning how to pattern pre-live scope, had a black and white graph, crappy GPS, paper map, I'm marking stuff on. You're like looking for points on the bank to mark. I was like, holy crap, the black squirrel. There's another black squirrel. There's another black squirrel. It's like there's a nuclear fallout here.
Then you're sidetracked looking for squirrels.
You lose track. Yeah. Yep. It's kind of like Kentucky Lake. The first time I fished there, I was fishing down around the corner from the moors, and I caught about a 4-pound bass practicing, and it had a giant black spot right next to its tail and a black spot on its fin. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. Turn it loose, and the guy in front of me at the weigh-in on the next day's tournament weighed that fish in. Because when he took it out to put it in the basket, I went, oh my. I mean, what are the odds of that?
Well, and that goes back to what you were saying earlier about how long does it take them to bite again. Obviously, that guy weighed that one in the next day.
Yeah. No, 2 days. But he still ate.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just kind of weird stuff. And I thought maybe they're all spotted that way. There's like a strain of them that are spotted that way through that bank. And I'll tell you something else. If you never fished Kentucky Lake, they do something different down there that I've never seen before, and it's about structure and brush. If you're on Lake of the Ozarks here in Missouri, everybody puts brush 90% of the time. You know where?
Point.
No, under their docks. Yeah. They sink them under their docks. Yes, point to be second, but that's where structure is located around here, and then you can find it. Kentucky Lake, the TVA goes through and they put these giant PVC brush piles in the very backs of the coves, stake beds and all that stuff, and they mark them. And they're pretty good. Yeah. They really are. But the coves their creeks are like longer and more narrow.
Right.
But they put brush down the center, down the gut. Sometimes they're 100 yards long, and they brush them like this long line of brush. And if you're a young, naive fisherman and you don't know what you're doing, you fish on top of it, and you're fishing the banks where the docks, they look exactly like Lake of the Ozarks, except there's nothing underneath them except dirt and boats. Right. But the brush is behind you. And so I'm fishing along, and I'm learning, trying to figure out a pattern. And I see these guides roll in. They've got the names on the side, like Johnny's Guide Service. They shut in behind me, and they start like right there fishing, like behind me. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? So I turn around and go back over and run over it. And I'm like, oh shit, I missed this by a mile. Big deal.
Yeah.
And that happens. There's certain lakes they do things differently, and
I think a lot of those TVA lakes are that way with the brush, because I know Pickwick the same way.
So why don't we do it here?
I think on Lake of the Ozarks, if you have a dock over so many slips, you have to put in brush.
If you have over 8 slips, half of them have to have natural structure on them.
Yeah.
Yep. What's funny? Speak up. No? You have to, yeah, it's a core requirement. Yeah. The crazy part is, like, and people don't realize commercial docks, like if they're 16 or 30 slips, 15 of them have to have something hanging off of them. It's supposed to. Yeah, turn them in. Make them put brush on it. Yeah.
I want to be the person to go check.
Yeah, we had contracts for a while here at the store where we were putting PVC structure on them. It was good. I mean, I can tell you where they are. One of them was Captain Ron.
Yeah.
We did all their docks one year. It was just, and he didn't want to have to do it every year to satisfy, so he did PVC structure. So it was like there, and we tethered them on every other dock. And I'm like, they said, "Where'd you go put that?" And I would, you know what I would say? Anchorage, um, Blue Anchor, wherever at the time it was not there. We lie.
What do you think about PVC compared to regular? What
What do I think?
Yeah.
You're asking me because I'm like a super knowledge on brush.
I've never put in PVC.
Okay, so in my professional 26 years of fishing Lake the Ozarks, this is what I think. A, white PVC, it gets too brittle in the wintertime and it breaks. And it doesn't promote good growth for algae. Black flexible pipe is more adequate for algae growth, which brings in more smaller bait, phytoplankton, which creates that cycle. With that being said, nothing beats hedge. Not cedar, not oak. Hardwood is the best wood to put in. It lasts longer. It's got gnarly branches. It's more of a natural cover. And I love that brush to put in versus all the rest. My opinion.
Okay.
Now, I do like flexible water pipe because and we talked about on the show, if you've never watched it before, I'm gonna give you some good advice. Bass has to have something over his head. So if you do like stick up stake beds, they really don't lay in it much. Other game fish will, and if there's something close where bass can lay to it and use it for an ambush, that's a great spot.
Right.
But he has to have something over him. So one year I took a half a barrel, put water pipe on it so it blossomed over really long and had the actual arms touch the ground again. And my goal was the algae would grow over it and make a hole. But I put them, they were about 3 foot tall, about 4 foot wide, and I put them in 6 feet of water. Because my goal was for September and October fishing, I was going to throw a whopper plopper over it and they'd come out meant to get it.
Right.
Problem is, what I didn't realize is there are assholes out there that'll take that, find it, and drag it 50 yards the other way and put it somewhere else where they like it once they find it. Big thing at Truman. Huge at Truman. Because they all know how to do that. So I found out that they do it here too. They're really savvy. You watch somebody put brush in. If you see somebody put in brush, and I'm going to say it nicely. Once you put something into the lake, it belongs to everybody. It's not your brush pile. And on that same token, that means if you see some guy putting in a lot of hard work and he put the big tree out there and you see it that day, go out there and grab it and move it 50 feet. You make your own brush pile. He goes back. He's pissed because he can't find it. And you have an awesome brush pile. All it takes is about 50 foot of rope and a hook, a grappling hook. You can drag that thing wherever you want. And yeah, not so much sportsmanlike, but the term is called gaining a competitive advantage.
I agree. After we get done, I'll give you the waypoints to your brush pile.
Thank you. You're the one that did it. Yeah. It was, and I first learned that there was a spot right around my dad's house, maybe like a half a mile. And we had got all these brush piles. And I learned a lot from your dad about brush. And we've talked about it a lot on the show. But, if you want to be a really proficient bass fisherman, it doesn't take a big brush pile. It takes a very small brush pile. You want that dominant fish to stay on that pile. So very small. And one of the secrets he gave up, and I don't know if he's shared this with you or not, but he gave it up to the show, and I'll say it again, is you don't have to go get concrete blocks. You don't have to do all that stuff. All you need is a roll of duct tape and a handsaw. Go to an undeveloped bank, cut you 2 or 3 good hardwood branches, go get a good flat rock, and wrap it in duct tape, and drag it out and sink it. Because duct tape will outlive all of us. And I never thought about that, but he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
You've wrapped a rock around duct tape to a stick and throw it in the water, it's going to last you a couple seasons, which is all you need. And you can do it quick. It's easy. You have to take much crap, get your boat dirty. It was awesome.
And a lot of times, whenever I go put in brush, it won't be for seasons. It'll be for a tournament that I'm going to fish in a month, and then after that, I'm probably not ever going to fish it.
Right.
Or if I do, there'll be a new brush pile there.
Well, and it's funny you say that too, because a dominant fish is going to take that spot, and A, dominant fish is going to take a spot where there's no brush. B, natural fall. In other words, a windstorm blows through, a tree dies and falls in the water. Within the first 30 minutes, those fish are going to relate to it quicker than any other brush pile you put in because it's natural. And that's instinctively where they go because it just falls in the water. A green tree, you cut it, put it in, they're on it quick. People go, well, there's toxins in the cedar and all that. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, but there's also bugs and worms and everything else.
That's right. All that natural cycle that hits the water is a great. Thank you. That's a good tip. There's bugs in it, and there's spiders and all that stuff, and the little bluegill go up there and they peck around and clean it off. And who eats bluegill? Mr. Bat. And there you go. You've started that cycle. It's more of a natural cycle. Now, yes, in 90 days, it's going to decompose. It's going to give off toxins. Fish are going to relate to it the same. And then when it dies, they'll come back. It works. So that's why you see guys with cedar trees, they burn them and whatever. Wait till they die and they put them in. It works, but you're going to catch them just as good in the first 30, 40 minutes also.
Right.
First week or two. And then let it go. That's.
I think that's for long lasting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't put in a lot of brush that I'm going to plan on fishing next year.
So I've got this idea brewing. I'm going to throw it by you. I thought this was the best idea ever. Nobody fishes trout. No reason to, right? So I thought, why don't I set 5 brush piles that are 200 feet long, 30, 40 feet apart, and then mark them with jugs and make them look like a trout line. And then go fish them. And they'll think I'm just running. When I go by, I'll just like put my hands down in the water like I'm running the line. And they're going, hey, he's catching catfish. And just go on.
Yeah.
That's pulling a dummy. It's a good one, right?
Yeah.
And you know where that came from? On Truman Lake, which is lake above us in Missouri. You cannot fish with inside the no-wake buoys of a state park marina. Kind of their little rule up there. So all the fishermen, where they put them? They put them on the buoys. They sink their brush piles around the buoys, and when they come in to check in, that's the last spot they fish. And they fish all the no-wake buoys. So here at this lake, guys, if you want to mark a brush pile that no one's going to fish, go 75 feet out in front of a dock, and there's all these big, giant red and white markers. That's where you sink your brush pile. I'm telling you, it's genius in the summer months. Yeah. Because not a lot of people, that's when they shut down and they go idle into the dock looking for brush piles when they're behind you.
Well, and then
it takes a little bit of work, but it's a really cool idea.
There's something going straight to the top. So,
that's right. And even with live scope, if you can't find it, you can find the cable going all the way down. And when you hit that cable, it's like, there it is. And there's a brush pile underneath it. And there's, I don't know, 30,000 plus no-wake buoys on the lake. If you want to do some work around your neighborhood area and put some brush out there they'll never, ever find, that's where you put it. So there's my free tip for the night. Good one. But obviously you want to look at depth. You want to look, in areas. Right. I mean, if they put one out and if they're 30 feet of water in their dock and they go out and it's 100 feet deep and they run it down, that's not where you put a brush pile. If you can find a brush pile or a no-wake buoy in 10 to 20 feet, you're in prime time. And nobody used that for a pattern. How'd you catch your fish? Oh, I fished on no-wake buoys all day. Was fish relating to the cable?
Or you stage it. I mean,
sure.
If you, right back to your jerk bait in the fall deal, if you wanted those fish that you're going to target with a jerk bait or whatever, your suspending bait.
A-rig.
Right.
You can do A-rig fishing in the fall.
You stage that brush pile 10 foot deep around.
Perfect. There you go. Now, here's the deal. Because I give you this great tip, you must email me at askreeltalk@gmail.com and let me know where you put it. So we can verify that it actually worked.
So that we can go move it.
We can go move it. Yeah. So that's the deal. You talk about Travis. One of the coolest things I've ever seen. And let me give you the end of the story. It did not work, but I thought was genius. We have a buddy who's a certified scuba diver, and on Truman, unlike this lake, they cleared this lake during the Great Depression when they flooded it. So all the standing timber was gone. There's still some standing timber out there in 80 feet, but not fishable. We can argue there's some timber lower end that you can find, but not very much. But on Truman Lake in the 70s, it was standing timber everywhere. So fast forward to today, there's still standing timber, but they're just pole timber, just poles. Well, he had this great idea. He took half a tree and he had it ripped with all the branches on it, and then he went underwater and screwed them to this pole timber. So it was creating a structure on a tree that had no structure. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I mean, he took like a 2x4 or 2x6 that's 10 feet long, and then he drilled it out, and then he stuck trees in it and screwed them all together, then dove down and screwed it to a tree. I'm like, man, that's how'd it work? And he said, didn't. He said, fish don't relate to that up there. You know, there's so many standing timber now.
Right.
It's not anything that fish relate to anymore. They do suspend a little, but it's one of those things that just becomes not relatable to them.
Right. And
which it doesn't make sense to me, but
I feel like whenever you're putting in brush, you don't put brush in where there's fish at. You put brush where you want fish to come to.
Right.
So if there was fish already there.
Right. My fear of that's always been that we talk about it every single week. I'm gonna talk about it again. I have a magic dock. We all have a magic dock. I have a magic dock too. Magic dock. There are 3 docks in this entire cove, and the entire cove is no more than 6 feet deep. It's maybe 300 yards wide, 600 yards deep, 6 feet deep all the way across, and there is nothing in it. But at the very back of the cove, there's one dock that sits in about 2.5 feet when the water's on it, and you can throw all the way to the back corner, chatterbait, tube, jig, and there's always one single big fish that's on it. And he's good once a year, one time, upriver, 47-ish, in that ballpark, in the mile mark. It's not a secret. Everybody sees me there all the time. It's the purple one. So anyway, but I thought to myself, that big fish swims all the way back there to that cover. So why can't I put a couple brush piles out along the way down the gut, and nobody would ever fish it? My fear is that they go back there because that's something to get under. So I'm trying to think of a way to do like, and I don't even know how to do it. I mean, I've seen some stuff out there, but my idea would be, and I've made some that didn't work. I took, anybody knows what a feed barrel is, they most farmers that run cattle or stuff like that, they get these giant, like blue tubs that they put like mineral in it. Yeah. The mineral bucket.
Yeah.
So I took a mineral bucket, turned it upside down, and I just cut a bunch of big holes in it, and then put a concrete lid on the top and sunk it, so that way a bass could get under it. I mean, I thought it was genius. They did not work. So then I drilled through them and I put brush, like water pipe in them. So now he's got something to get under. There's stuff for bait to get on it, and that didn't work. So now I'm thinking I need to create like a giant plastic disc that's like 3 feet in diameter, very thin, like a symbol for a drum set with a stand on it. So I can just sink in the water and something get under it, and I can still fish around without getting hung up. That, in my theory, seems like the perfect bass brush pile in shallow water. It's like a man-made lily pad that's like 6 inches under the water.
Yeah, but it's going to be two-sided. You're either going to cast over it, and come up and over it,
right?
One time.
Right, but that's one fish one time. Not a good idea.
You try it.
Well, I've tried different ways, and it doesn't work. But I kind of like the concept.
It's not a bad concept.
The problem is that if you're in 6 feet of water, even if you put it down to 4 feet, you have some drawdown. Then the next butthole that runs in there is going to tear them all up because they're going to run over them, and then they're gone. And that's going to happen. Then you're going to have, if you're in any kind of a river system, like let's not say Lake of the Ozarks, let's say any lake that has hydroelectric power, you get unpredictable current, you get spring rain, and all that stuff gets washed away. So it's something you have to make that's disposable, because if there's areas up there where you want to kind of keep it close to the point but not too far back, they get washed away. So there's kind of a happy medium. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is why the duct tape and the wood works great, because they wash away and do it again.
Fast and easy.
Fast and easy. That's right.
Yeah.
I like that. Anyway, that's all I got. You got anything else? It's amazing how fast you can burn an hour just flying. Right on. So anyway, I want to take this opportunity to thank Lloyd and June at Hiawatha Beach. They're our big-time sponsors, and we appreciate everything they do for us. And I don't know, Dion's not watching, but we'll see you next week probably. He'll get back on feet by then, I
He
think.
might be.
I doubt it. He's not turn on YouTube. Are you kidding me?
He knows how to. He YouTubes Bigfoot all the time.
He is a Sasquatch guy. You're right.
Yeah.
I had it. Did I tell you I had a guy that was a Sasquatch hunter? I was gonna have come on the show.
No. Was it my dad?
No, I was gonna surprise him with it, like the three of us.
Oh.
And the guy flaked out because he thought I was like gonna make fun of him, which I probably was gonna make fun of him. But
You got to make that like a 3-hour show.
he's a local squatcher.
Huh.
There's a squatch like 5 miles from here. Did you know that? Towards Versailles.
I've heard.
Like 3-4 miles. There's a big squatch there. He knows. And it's a conspiracy that everybody's keeping a secret. And I'm like, oh, I have this podcast. I want to come on and talk about it. He's like, he said, are you like going to let me like really tell the truth? I'm like, oh, yeah, absolutely. I said, as a matter of fact, the co-host, he believes in squatches too.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn. Which I cornered him on. He said he really doesn't believe in squatches. He believes the concept that there could be a squatch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really?
What about you?
I mean, it's kind of like a 50-foot shark and like ghosts. Two things. They may exist. I've never seen one.
Right.
So until then, no, I don't believe it. You know, everybody says they've seen a ghost, but I've never seen one. So
I don't know that I've ever seen a ghost.
Right. I've never seen a 50-foot shark either.
Yeah.
They say they exist. Never seen one. Catfish side of the cars in the lake. Big catfish. You know, heard about them. Never caught one over 60 pounds. Have you?
Over 60?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually never broke the 60 barrier, but I want to try.
I've caught a couple in the 80s.
I never have. But the size of a Volkswagen, no. But you've heard the stories. Oh, they're at the dam. You know, they'll eat you. No. Drug a car in the lake in 1968. You know. 90. Not a Volkswagen. Yeah. But you hear that stuff.
Lawson and Shannon caught bunches of them that were in the mid 80s,
Sure.
low 90s.
Right. But I'm
it's
saying the
still
ones
not as big as
you've heard those stories. You know, I threw out a chuck roast and tied it to the bumper of my car with an electric winch, and he drug my car in the water and had to cut the cable loose with some side cutters and damn near saved my wife's car. He's going to get it. We've all heard that.
Wasn't there some river monster show that they did on Lake of the Ozarks?
Yes. You know what they caught? Like a 30-pounder.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, so, you know, I do agree what Dion said. One night we were sitting there talking. He's like, have you ever flown over Alaska? I said, no. He said, over the undeveloped side. I said, no. He said, you know, there are millions and millions and millions of acres
where there's not anything.
Man has never even walked on it. He's like, how can you say that something doesn't exist there when you haven't even been there? Yeah. I'm like, no. Still don't believe you. No.
The ocean's the same way.
Sure. I know, I get it. I'm just saying, what are my takes on it? I'm kind of a trust but verify guy.
Yeah.
Sure, there might be. Hasn't been proven to me yet, so it's a no for now.
I think you're gonna have to go out in the woods and start like knocking on trees.
Now, have I ever been scared the crap out of myself?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. We've all done that, right? Mm-hmm. You're out there in the woods by yourself, and it's like, there's no squatches, and you're just, it's like,
there he is.
What the hell was that? Like, whoa! Like, what was that? Screech owls get you every time, too.
Yeah.
Because they'll scream like somebody slit their throat.
And
like, what the? Huh?
Bobcats
will do it, too. Yeah, they'll scare the crap out of you out in the woods by yourself. Yeah. I think that, and I'll wrap this up, the most scared I've been in the woods was, I was going to go deer hunting by myself. And I got, some friend had like 200 acres. Like, it was a great spot. It was right behind the house I was living in. Like, go out there, no problem. I was like, cool. So I truck out there, and he had this little stand. I got in it, wait for the first light to come up. Quiet. Hear the squirrels are scattering around. It's all good. And I kind of, as light comes up, I see an orange shirt, and an orange shirt, and an orange shirt, and an orange shirt. And I stood up and I said, I'm getting out of the woods. Please don't shoot me. And that was the one time I felt really uncomfortable about being in the woods. Because I was like, oh my God, there's like 5 trespassers in like 500 yards. I was like, this is a bad idea. I quit deer hunting after that.
Really?
I did. Oh. Plus, I don't like deer meat. So, you know. I like shooting cows. More fun. So, anyway, that's all I got tonight. You got anything else?
Nope.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching. And we will be back the same time next week on Reel Unfiltered Talk. As always, be safe. Wear your life jackets. Fish smart. Fish clean. Because if you don't fish clean, you're going to lose fish and you're not going to cash a check. So that's all I got.
Correct.
Y'all take care. We'll see you next week. Appreciate you.